Everyone. This is the lecture video for the typography module, module 3. Some of you have already started working on the worksheets and the discussion, but I want to go over everything for those of you that haven't looked into the typography module yet. So I have posted, again, the worksheets and the type specimen book assignment for you to start working on. I have a page here with different typography websites and videos. Most of the information that you're going to need for the worksheets and for the discussion post will come from this website here, or the websites and the videos. There's a lot of different websites here and videos for you to watch. You can watch them at your own time. They are have a lot of information. Some of them are going to have the same information on each of them, but just discussed a little bit differently depending on the person that is that created the website or the videos. Okay, so again, there's a lot of information here. Most of it, again, will be the same, but it'll give you a good overview of what typography is, what you do with typography. And then these videos here that I've posted came from the Adobe Max conference over the last couple of years, where they have different designers come and talk about different products, the Adobe products, and then just design in general. So I found these videos that would probably be helpful for you in this class, and then any future classes that you may take that deal with typography. And as a designer as well, typography is an important part of design. And then I have included some YouTube videos here too that also talk about typography and design in general. Okay. And then as I find any more videos or anything, websites, I'll, update it as well. Okay, so you also have a discussion post to complete this week. The deadline was, the first deadline was October 31st, Thursday. And then you were supposed to respond to 2 classmates by yesterday. If you haven't done it yet, please do it as soon as possible. All of the information, all the questions or the discussion prompts will be under what is typography, but you can also probably find some of the information or get some insights from the other websites that I posted as well. Okay, so you need to select 4 of the prompts below and answer those in your post. So, provide specific examples to support your insights, and feel free to incorporate any personal or professional experiences related to typography. So, and then review what is typography. That page here on Canvas will give you some information as well based on those questions. Okay. So again, if you haven't completed this discussion post yet, please do so as soon as possible. As it, the other students that have posted are waiting for other students to post so that they can respond to your post. Okay. So again, please get that done as soon as possible, because the due date has already passed for this, but I'm going to let those of you that haven't completed it yet go ahead and complete it again as soon as possible. Okay, and then there's also some worksheets that you need to complete. So 2 worksheets here. You're going to review these PDFs here, and then you're going to complete the worksheets from that information on those other PDFs. Okay, so you're going to download it. You're going to open it up in Adobe Acrobat to complete it. There's forms for you to fill, form fields for you to include your answers. Okay, so when you download this to your computer, you'll be able to type in there in those fields. You'll see the fields when you download it. Okay. So there's questions here about typography terms. And then these are parts of letters and different things that associate with the anatomy of typography. And then this one here, anatomy of typography, again, is the same thing that was on that other page. It gives you word banks here where you can fill in, select terms from to apply to each parts of these letters. Okay. And again, you have these PDFs here that will give you information, show you some of the anatomy of typography, and then some of the terms, the definitions for some of those terms. Okay, so you'll find the information in these PDFs for these two worksheets. And right now it looks like most of you have completed it, but just a review for those of you that haven't completed it yet, make sure that you get this done as well. Okay, so the main assignment for this module is a type specimen book. A typography specimen is a visual presentation that highlights a typeface style, versatility, and functionality. Designers create these specimens to showcase a typeface's features, strengths, and possible uses. In this assignment, you will create a multiple page specimen booklet using Adobe InDesign to present a chosen typeface in various applications. So the objectives are to develop an understanding of a typeface anatomy, styles, and uses, practice creating layout designs that effectively display typographic elements, and gain proficiency in using Adobe InDesign tools for multiple page layouts. Learn to manage consistency, hierarchy, and alignment across multiple pages. So I'll show you how to set up the document in InDesign and go over a few things in InDesign just as a refresher. So the project goals: enhance conceptual thinking, develop and refine your ability to synthesize various pieces of information into a cohesive, engaging layout, research typeface history and usage, dive into the background and applications of your chosen typeface, explore its origins, designer, and historical context, engage in visual and verbal storytelling, create a narrative around the typeface that combines visual design with descriptive text to tell its story in a compelling way, build visual hierarchy and flow, pay attention to elements like hierarchy, pacing, legibility, sequencing, and creating a smooth, readable experience throughout the book. Apply typography skills. Use the typography techniques you've learned to enhance the design and readability of your specimen book. So the things that you've read or learned in those PDFs and those websites and videos, apply those to this book. Connect typeface to historical context, explore historical events, inventions, or public figures from the same time period as your typeface's creation to enrich its story and relevance. And then incorporate contextual content. Weave this historical context into the design of your specimen book, creating layers of meaning and a deeper understanding of the typeface's impact. Okay. Okay, so what is a type specimen book? Is a book is a printed or digital resource that showcases examples of typefaces, fonts in various styles, sizes, and layouts. Traditionally, these books were used by printers and designers to see how different fonts looked when printed. They contain samples of typefaces set in different sizes, weights, and arrangements, allowing designers and typographers to compare styles and choose the most appropriate type for the projects. So type is one of the most important things when you're designing something. If the text or the type is not legible or hard to read, more than likely somebody's not going to pay much attention to your design. So think of books and magazines and newspapers. If everything was written in a script font in a magazine or a book, you probably wouldn't spend very much time reading it because it would be hard to read. Okay, so if you think of books and magazines and newspapers, they're usually using Times New Roman or a font that's very easy to read for long periods of time. I'm not saying that you can't use script fonts or this specialty fonts for your projects, but you're not going to use them for the entire project or for body text. In addition to showing individual characters, type specimen books often include sample texts, such as famous quotes, paragraphs, or phrases to illustrate the font's appearance in longer passages. This helps designers get a feel for how the typeface will look in an actual use, whether in body text, headlines, or decorative displays. Today, digital specimen books are also popular, providing interactive ways to test typefaces with custom text. These books are essential for designers to choose the right font. By visually comparing different typefaces, designers can select the most appropriate font for a specific project, understand font characteristics. Specimen books provide information about a font's X height, ascenders, descenders, and other typographic details. Experiment with typography. Designers can experiment with different combinations of fonts, sizes, and spacing to create unique and visually appealing designs. I've included a link here to an example. Okay, and this talks about a little bit more about why they were created, when they first started appearing. So this is a little bit more information about a little bit more of the history behind a specimen book. Okay, so this is an example of a type specimen book I created for a typography class that I was enrolled over the summer. So this is kind of what you're going to do. You can come up with your own design layout of it, but the instructions were to create a 12-page book with a front and back cover, and then inside pages that displayed different things about the font. Okay, so the front and back cover. So this would be the front cover here, and this would be the back cover. So I just laid it out so that you would see how it would look together. So the front and back cover need to be cohesive. They need to, go together somehow. So I just chose to extend the font or the name of the font to the back, and then like a little icon that I created from using different parts of the font. And then it starts with the history. So there was this particular font that I chose had 3 different it was originally created in 1845, and then in 35 and 53, it went through changes, either through a different company or just updating the font over time. I included a quote from the Foundry's type specimen book from later when they were producing it. And then in those different years, 1845, 1835, and 1853, I found 4 different things that happened during that time. And then you can see I played around with the font, the styles, so that you can see what the font looks like at different sizes, different weights. And then I've included little elements from the font as well here. Okay, so then again, 1953 is the final year that there was changes. This is a page about the usage of that font. It was used originally on the Old West posters, and then in the 1990, or the U.S. Park Service started using that font on their signs. These are the characteristics of that font. So this has to do with the anatomy of the font. So you're going to find unique little things about the font that you want to highlight. Then these were quotes from stuff that was written during that time. So I picked one from 45, 53, and 35 and 53. I created a little bird that kind of goes with the raven. Doesn't quite look like a raven, but I created a little bird using the letters. And then this was the outlaws, famous outlaws of the time. And then I created a little outlaw figure. And then I created a wanted poster using parts of the font as well. So question marks, the C, commas, and just different parts of the font. So you can see how the font looks with in different treatments. Okay, so that's an example of an example that I created. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is research. So type specimen book research objectives, develop conceptual thinking skills, create a compelling composition using several disparate pieces of information, research and learn about the history and usage of a particular typeface, express the content selected visually and verbally in your storytelling, strengthen your system of visual hierarchy, pacing, legibility, and sequencing throughout the book. Apply the knowledge of typography skills learned in your book. Connect your typeface designer and what happened that same year historically. Consider a public figure that either lived the same year, shares regional connections, or an invention that happened that year. You will use this content when designing your type specimen book. Okay, so the first part of the type specimen book is to choose a typeface. So you're going to begin by selecting a typeface family from the list below. All typefaces are available on Adobe Fonts. Because you're going to have to install that font onto your computer to be able to use it for the book. If you are not able to find, because of your subscription with Adobe, if one of these fonts, if you pick a font and it's not available for you on the Adobe font website, let me know and I will download it and then post it here for you to download, to install in your computer. Okay, so you will have to install the font on your computer, and I will go to the Adobe font website as well so that you can see how to search for it and how to install it if you don't know how to do that already. Okay. So you're going to select one of these fonts. So it has the name of the font family and then the designer behind it. Okay. So you're going to research the font, you're going to research the designer, and you're going to research things that happened during that time, that year that it was the font was created. Okay. So that's the first step. So you're going to select one of these fonts, and then you're going to tell me, you're going to submit to me which font you are choosing. And then again, if you cannot install it on your computer, let me know and I will download it and post it here so that you can install it on your computer. Okay, so once you've selected your font, you're going to conduct research on that font. So you're going to research the typeface, look up the history, purpose, designer, and any notable characteristics of that typeface. Answer all the questions below for additional research during the year your typeface was created. This information and content will be used in your typographic specimen book. So you saw on my example, the font was first created in 1845, and then it went through revisions and stuff. So then the next 2 other times. So if you come across something like that, you can highlight that as well. But I want you to look for stuff that happened in the year that the font was created first, and then kind of go use other years if there is another year that the font was updated. So events, research what happened the year the typeface was designed. Look for 5 notable events that occurred the year your typeface was designed. These could be major cultural, political, scientific, or artistic events. Research resources like historical database, timelines, or even Wikipedia's year and pages can provide context. Popular songs, identify 2 popular songs from that year and the artist who performed them. Look at Billboard charts or music archives for top hits from the relevant period. So you can include in your design, you can include song lyrics, a lyric from one of the songs, or just the name of the song, somehow incorporate that into the design, your layout. Quotes, search for 2 memorable quotes from that time. Quotes can be historical from popular movies, literature, or inspirational sayings that capture the essence of the era. Check quote collections or historical websites. Okay, so again, these are things that you're going to display in the design of the book so that you can show what the font looks like at different weights, styles, sizes. Graphic design style, investigate the dominant graphic design style during the year your typeface was created. Was it influenced by Art Deco, Bauhaus, Swiss design, or something else? Design journals or websites focused on design history, such as AIGA or Smart History, might be helpful. Noted graphic designers, identify 3 influential graphic designers active at the time. Consider designers who helped define or polarize the visual aesthetic of that period. So whatever designer may have been, artist or designer, that may have been active during that time. So you can include artists in there as well, not just graphic designers. And then additional research, collect any extra information on the typeface's purpose, design, or legacy. Knowing why it was created or how it has been used since can add a lot to your project. Websites like Fonts in Use or My Fonts offer detailed histories of typefaces and their designers. You can submit the answers in the text entry box or submit a Word text document to this assignment page. Okay. And then I've created an example here. These are the examples for Helvetica. 1957 was when Helvetica was created. These are some of the things that happened during that time. These are the popular songs, quotes from 2 different movies. The graphic design style was Swiss design. Graphic designers from 1957, Rand, I always mess that up. It's Paul Rand, because Rand Paul is a politician. I always get them mixed up. So Paul Rand and Saul Bass, those were three of the influential designers from that time. So whatever the designers during that time, research them and kind of see how they what kind of designs they did, and maybe you can incorporate that into your type specimen book. And then additional information, Helvetica has been used extensively in public signage, most notably in the New York subway system. So it tells why it's based on its clarity, helping travelers navigate complex transit systems. Its presence in public spaces reinforces its image as a font of accessibility and your universality. So in my example, I showed that the Claridon was used in the wanted posters, and then it was also used on the National Park Services signs up until 1990. So if you can find examples of how the font is being used in the past or currently, you can include that information as well, or maybe recreate something like that in InDesign to include in your book. Okay, again, these are the same objectives for the book overall. So enhance conceptual thinking, research typeface, apply typography skills. So these are the same ones that were on the first one. Okay, so this is how you're going to set up the book. So you're going to be creating a 5x5 book, 12-page book in InDesign. So you're going to include the following sections: the introduction and history, anatomy and characteristics. So display the typeface's anatomy. So looking at the anatomy worksheets and handouts, you can see some of the pieces or the anatomy of the different font or the different letters. So you're going to include something like that. So similar to what I included on mine. Let me open up my example. I can show you. Okay. So this is the anatomy or characteristics of the font. So the little pieces of the font or little sections of the font that you want to call attention to because they're unique for that font. Weights and styles show a range of weights and styles available within the typeface. So here's the bold appearance, italicized, normal style or regular style. So each of those fonts will have different weights to them. So again, that's bold, italic, condensed, extended. Those are weights. No, weights are bold, extra bold. Those are the weights. And then the styles would be the italicized, extended, or condensed. Alphabets and numerals include full displays of the alphabet, uppercase, lowercase, and numerals. You don't have to do the entire alphabet, but I included some of the letters here. So that would show the the letters. And then I've included on my history part here how the numbers look at different sizes and different applications. Sample text applications demonstrate the typeface in real world applications such as headlines, body text, and captions. So I have body text here where I have a couple lines of text. I have headlines. These are headlines here as well, or page, letting you know what each page is representing. So those are headlines as well. And then creative showcase, create 1 or 2 pages that creatively express the typeface in an artistic or illustrative manner. I chose to do it with the letters and create little figures like I did with the little bird or the little person here, or the little outlaw I created on this page with the wanted poster. This little guy here is the same guy that I have on my cover here. So I incorporated the word, the font name in the little body of the character. But I also have included some examples here. It may take a few minutes for it to load on your computer. You can also download it to your computer. Okay, so I was trying to get the PDF examples here loaded. So it finally loaded. So here are some examples that I found of different fonts. So this first one here is American Typewriter. So they showed how that font's being used in different logos, arranged it like a keyboard, a typewriter. And then this is the anatomy of that font. And you can see the font at different sizes. They put the style of the font and the size that each of those letters has been set in. Here's one. Let me zoom out a little bit on this one here. Okay. So here's one for Bodoni. This is kind of where I got the idea from when I was doing my example for class. So they created a person using the different fonts or not different fonts, different letters or different characters. A quote about the font. And that's kind of like a magazine cover that they created from that. Here is one for, I'm not sure what font this is. But you can see they included different letters, turned them in different directions. different colors. Here's one for Futura, a cover for the cover. This one is for Garamond. You can see they used one of the letters. And then you can see the letters are outlined. And then it talks about a little bit of history of the font. I apologize that some of these pages aren't the same size. But this one is for, I believe, Gill Sans. Yeah. So you can see they've picked some of the unique characteristics of the font based on some of the letters or the numbers or the punctuation marks. This is in the second page of Gill Sans. This is the anatomy of the letters. They just took one specific letter and explained a little bit more about the anatomy of it. This one is Goudy Old Style and some of the features on there. This one is just showing some of the letters and doing like a little artistic example of it. Here's another one, Mrs. Eves. So it's got the letters, the punctuation, a little bit about the font, how it looks in different sizes when it was created, some of the punctuation marks. Here's another Claridon. Talks about the font, one of the letters, and then some more artistic examples of it, the numbers, a quote from the designer who created the font. Here's another example of Claridon. This is the font Eames. So you can see there's a variety of ways to create this type specimen book. So you're going to, first conduct the research about the font, find those different, the history of the font, anything that happened during those years to use. And then in this book, you're going to demonstrate how the font can be used in different applications. Okay, so the structure of the book is going to be the front cover. So page 1 and 12 will be the front and back cover. So they should be a cohesive. So your design should wrap around to the back. So like if you look at a book cover that's when it's flat, it kind of wraps around to the back from the front to the back. Page 2 to 3 will have the introduction to the typeface, including its history, creator, year of creation, a more detailed narrative meant to be read. Pages 4 to 9, so you're going to explore the typeface's unique characteristics or anatomy. This will showcase a selection of the letters, A through Z, uppercase and lowercase, numbers, unique punctuation marks, and ligatures. And ligatures is when the two letters connect. So think of like the F and the I. Sometimes in different fonts, the F and the I will connect to each other, and I'll show you that when I go into InDesign here in a second. Pages 10 and 11, highlights from your research, including quotes or additional information that emphasizes the significance of the typeface. And then again, the back cover, which should extend from the front cover. In the pages, showcase the typeface's characteristics, including the following: large scale, display in headline sized, larger point sizes; small scale, demonstrate in body text sizes; typographic styles, show various styles like bold, italic, Roman, and bold italic, specific to this typeface. Sentence use, illustrate its effectiveness in sentences emphasizing hierarchy. And numerals and glyphs, represent the typeface's new numbers and any unique glyphs or decorative elements. And again, I'll show you that in InDesign, how to find that. Thumbnail sketches, you're going to create a minimum of three thumbnail sketches for each page. And again, that's just to get ideas down on the page, how you would want to arrange things based on your research, your font, but get things down on paper first before you start designing it in InDesign. And then design requirements. Use Adobe InDesign's tools for layout consistency, grid systems, paragraphs, character styles. Maintain readability and clear and concise and clear hierarchy across the specimen. Use a limited color palette and keep the design focused on the typeface. So you can use colors, but don't, kind of stick to 2 to 3 colors on your layout, and kind of think of the colors maybe that were associated with that period, the year that they were created, art that was created during that time, design that was created during that time. Kind of keep the color palette to that. And then ensure alignment and spacing are consistent throughout the pages. File submission, you're going to save the InDesign document as your first and last name, type specimen book, export the final booklet as a press quality PDF, and upload the InDesign and PDF to this assignment page. Okay. So again, it'll be a 5-inch by 5-inch 12-page book with those sections, highlighting the font that you have chosen. This will be due on, check here, November 16th. So you have 2 weeks to work on it. I know it seems like a big project, but I think once you get into researching the font and finding some of the things that are associated with the font, I think you'll have fun with this project, because I had fun with it. I like typography. I like working with text. I like creating things text-wise. So this was a fun project for me. So I'm hoping that it's going to be a fun project for you as well. Okay. So I'm going to make a second video about setting up the document in InDesign, and then going over some of the stuff, how to set it up, some of the, like the glyphs, how to find the glyphs, how to find the ligature marks in InDesign. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this video, stop recording this part, and then I'll create a second one for the layout, how to create the document in InDesign.